Civilization or Barbarism, an Authentic Anthropology by Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop. Before drawing conclusions from the anteriority of the African Homo sapiens sapiens in relation to the Homo sapiens sapiens on other continents, let us insist on the fact that the evolved Neanderthals of Kwafsa 37,000 years ago are strictly contemporaries of the European Homo sapiens, and therefore cannot be his ancestors. It is a report presented to the Paris Colloquium of 1969. Van der Meesch writes that Layer 17, which contains the three skeletons he discovered, also contains traces of coal and ashes in such abundance that their color has become a uniform deep gray. In such conditions, it is absolutely possible to carry out radiometric dating of these ashes. But was this ever attempted? M. Atatinio of Kenya and I represented the African continent at the Paris Colloquium, and the ideas that I presented against the polycentric thesis and the differentiation of Homo erectus onward are the same ones. The Neanderthals of Palestine and Iraq are thus nothing but dead ends. They are too recent to be the origin of any species of Homo sapiens sapiens. Endocranial molds made from these fossils would enable one to understand better the still enormous gap that separates them from Homo sapiens sapiens. But until now, the making and studying of these molds have been neglected, even though I raised this question at the Paris Colloquium of 1969. And modern man was not born in Europe. He was going to be born in Palestine according to the biblical word, which is what these anthropologists seem to be saying to themselves subconsciously. Compounding this irony, Palestine appears to constitute a paleontological vacuum during the period corresponding to the appearance of Homo sapiens sapiens. One will have to wait until the Mesolithic age, around 8,000 or 10,000 years ago, to see the appearance there of Homo sapiens sapiens in the form of a Negroid. Dorothy Garroyd's Natufian is, all ideology aside, the first example of Homo sapiens sapiens in this region. The gap that exists between him and the evolved Neanderthals of the Kwavze has not been filled to this day by prehistoric archaeology. However, during almost the same period, a Negroid culture known as Capesian, characterized by small blades in shape of crescents, extended from Kenya to Tunisia and into Palestine. This was the period of the Negroids in the Capesian culture. In Africa, this Capesian culture was immediately preceded by that of the Ibero-Mauritanian, which disappeared 10,000 years ago without leaving any descendants. No demonstrable, provable link exists between Iberian Mauritanian man and the Gaunches of the prehistorical Canary Islands. A gap of 8,000 years, which no one has tried to fill, separates them. The Gaunches, who practiced mummification and were more or less imbued with Punic culture, must be considered a mere branch of today's Berbers, who, in turn, are undoubtedly descendants of the white peoples of Europe, called the Sea Peoples in Egyptian texts, who evaded Egypt around the 21st dynasty, 1300 BCE, precisely that of Ramses, conquered by the Egyptians. They were driven back west of the Nile Delta, from whence they scattered progressively to the Atlantic Ocean across from Cyrenaica, from the Nasamons to the Gutalians of southern Morocco. And I will leave it there. I'm Uriel Riley. This is Civilization or Barbarism.